I started playing guitar when I was 11 or 12 years old. My uncle bought one at a flea market, and the action was like literally an inch tall. And then my dad, after like my dad watching me suffer on this guitar, he bought me a regular steel string guitar, and then I didn't really get serious about it until I left home when I was 18, and I just sat down and said, I'm gonna learn to play exactly like Mississippi John Hurt, do the Travis picking, and that's when I got really serious about playing. I was into like rock and roll, like the Beatles and Pink Floyd, but when I heard Bob Dylan, this was like, this guy with a guitar thing is just like what I really wanted to do, and that kind of set the ball rolling on everything. Things transitioned and changed, and I would say right now my biggest hero is Bruce Springsteen, for his songwriting and for his longevity as an artist. Because Bob Dylan, I love Bob, but I feel like Bob got really cynical and didn't really care about his live performances later on. And Bruce Springsteen, who's like 70 years old now, he's like still putting on the best show of his life night after night. So that is really inspiring to me. So Bruce is a big one. Steve Earle, Justin Townes Earle, Jason Isbell, Josh Ritter, Sturgill Simpson, classic country like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Merle and Waylon, Don Williams. There's so much music out there. Like right now I'm going through like a little Irish Celtic phase, and I've been listening to some traditional Irish music. I went to Ireland for the first time last year around this time. It was exactly a year ago, and I just had a blast. I spent a week in Galway busking on the streets and just crashing with various musicians that I would meet in pubs or on the street, and Ireland just had a very big impact on me. And so since it's been a year, I've been reflecting on that time and really itching to go back there. I saw a bunch of people using a foot pedal, like stomp box foot pedal, and when I came back, I was like, I'm definitely gonna do the stomp thing, like Shaky Graves or early Coulter Wall stuff, and yeah, I never did. It's just I never rigged up anything, but maybe one day, or I'll just hire a drummer. I don't know. I remember the first time I performed was in Philadelphia at, I think, the World Cafe open mic. I had just run away from home, and I did that open mic, and I sucked. I sucked so hard, and I just like slept out of there like without talking to anybody because I sucked so hard. And that was my very first. I would say that was like my very first like just like get up there and try to perform experience. So that was the first, and then I just worked on it over time. But that was just like the very beginning when I was 18. And then I moved to San Francisco, and I busked for a living for 3 years, and that would include playing like 5 hours at least a day, 5 to 8 hours a day of busking. And I think that helped me develop my sense of rhythm and timing and performance and endurance. A lot of looking in the mirror, playing with a mirror, and a lot of using a metronome and recording and playing things back. Just a lot of trial and error, open mics and lots of shows and lots of trial and error. The local music community here is definitely special, very special. Of all the places I've been to, and I've been through the South, Texas, California, New Mexico, and Of all the places I've really spent time and explored the music scene, New England, and I'd say New Hampshire especially in particular, it has a really just a really great scene. It's a small scene for sure, but there are so many live music venues, like so many restaurants and bars that hire solo acoustic acts, and so many places that do bands, so many venues, and that makes it so that we could make a living actually playing gigs. It's not like Nashville where you go there and you can't find a paying gig at all because there's just so much competition. Over here there's not as much competition. There's a lot of people, a lot of really great talented people out here, but there's enough venues and gigs for everyone to kind of make a living, I think. New Hampshire has a lot of great musicians out here. Sunny Hunt, April Cushman, over in Concord, and then Seacoast, you've got bands like Rock Spring, and they're just like a lot of people. I can't even think of them all right now. Sawbelly Brewing, which I think opened a year ago. I played there a lot this summer. Sea Dog here in town. Shooters is a great place. I never played Shooters, but that's a cool spot. I've seen my friends play there, and I really like it there. Where else have I played in Exeter? I've played here in Swasey Parkway. Where else? Tailgate Tavern. Yeah, Exeter is a pretty happening little town. Yeah, I usually have, I'd say at least 100 gigs in the summer, fall season. So surprisingly, I did play a lot outside this summer, despite all the limitations because of COVID. It's hard to tell if certain aspects of your life have been affected by the pandemic, or if you're having a hard time regardless of the pandemic. So it's hard to tell what's like exacerbated by the pandemic and what challenges are just like already just your challenges. So I guess the pandemic is teaching me, I guess, to not be as hard on myself. Which, saying that kind of sounds hypocritical because I am still hard on myself, but I think it's teaching me to be less hard on myself. So maybe that's the positive. Don't be afraid of failing and messing up, because it's all something that you work on over time. Some people start off being really talented initially. Like some people, there's always a few people that just right off the bat, right from the get-go, they're great. But most people, and myself included, they don't have any guidance or anyone showing them the ropes. It's just all trial and error. So if I was to give myself advice, it would just be to really embrace all the painful moments where you feel bad about your playing or singing or songwriting, and just really persevere and keep telling yourself that you're gonna get better if you keep working on it. So yeah, that would be my advice.